Welcome to the Deep Dive. You know, there's this phrase you hear absolutely everywhere these days.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
I've been so busy lately. I mean, you hear it constantly.
All the time, yeah.
And it feels like it's more than just an update on your schedule, doesn't it?
Definitely.
It's become this kind of unspoken badge of honor, almost a subtle way of saying, hey, I'm relevant.
Right. Like busyness itself is the achievement.
Exactly. It's like a currency, you know? A symbol that you're important, our packed calendars. Maybe they aren't just a symptom of a demanding life anymore. Maybe, in a weird way, they're the whole point.
Well, that sets us up perfectly, because that's the core question we're really digging into today, looking closely at this idea of the paradox of perpetual motion.
Okay.
Is all this constant busyness, is it genuinely something we should aim for? Or has it maybe become a kind of culturally okay way to escape?
An escape. Interesting.
Yeah, and our goal here isn't to say being idle is great, not at all. It's more about peeling back the layers, understanding the psychology, the philosophy behind it, the societal stuff. How did we get to a place where being exhausted is seen as, well, a virtue?
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. The source material hits us right away with this phrase, the cult of busyness. That's pretty strong.
It is. It grabs you.
It suggests we're in this age where being totally overwhelmed isn't a crisis. It's actually like a lifestyle choice. I mean, think about it. How often do we sort of subtly boast about how packed our schedule is, or feel a bit, I don't know, inadequate if we don't have a massive to-do list?
Right. That feeling of, I should be doing more.
Yeah. It's like the more stretched thin we are, the more valuable we feel. Why do you think that is? Why this modern metric for worth?
Well, what's really fascinating is how the source breaks down the why behind it.
Okay.
So for one thing, busyness signals demand. It basically says, people need me. My time is valuable. Think how often I'm so busy comes up just to show our value in a chat.
Right.
And it also, it masks uncertainty. It gives us this powerful sense of purpose. Like, okay, I might not know exactly where I'm going, but look, I'm doing something.
Right. Constant motion as a shield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shields us from maybe some bigger existential questions.
Yeah.
And crucially, it earns validation. Look how much I'm juggling. That taps right into our basic human need to be seen, appreciated, considered competent. But the paradox, and this is key, is that for a lot of people, this busyness isn't really driven by necessity. It's driven by not knowing who we are without it. It really makes you question identity, doesn't it?
Wow. Yeah, that is powerful. That something meant to signal worth actually becomes, well, almost a trap. And the source takes it even further, suggesting that for some, this constant motion, it's not about achieving anything. It's pure avoidance.
Yeah, avoiding.
And this is where it gets really interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about being overworked, it's about what we might be running from.
This is such a critical point, and I think, honestly, many of us can probably relate to this on some level. For a lot of folks, constant activity really does act like a shield. A shield from silence, maybe? A distraction from discomfort.
Yeah, filling the space.
Exactly. It becomes this ready-made excuse to put off those deeper questions, questions about meaning, purpose, even who we fundamentally are.
Okay.
The author asks some really pointed questions here, things like, if I stop working, am I going to feel empty? Or, if I actually rest, will people think I'm lazy?
Oof, yeah.
Or, if I suddenly have free time, what am I going to have to confront that I've been pushing away? And when you look at it like that, busyness suddenly looks like this.
Well, socially rewarded way to run from ourselves.
A socially rewarded way to run from ourselves.
It's a form of escapism, but one that society actually tends to applaud.
That's a stark image, but it really does ring true for so many, I think. It makes me think about another concept mentioned, the guilt of comfort.
How many of us genuinely feel uneasy when things are calm? A project finishes early, or the weekend is unexpectedly quiet. We don't always celebrate that peace, do we?
Not always, no.
Sometimes we question it, like, have I done enough? Am I being unproductive?
Exactly. And the source frames this as a strange and telling symptom of our culture. This guilt, it argues, it doesn't really come from actual laziness.
Right.
It comes from this deep cultural conditioning, this pervasive idea that comfort is somehow suspicious, that stillness is indulgent, that rest always has to be earned.
Earned, not just allowed.
Right, never simply allowed. But then connecting this to the bigger picture, you have to wonder, what if comfort isn't the enemy of progress? What if it's actually its foundation? What if real clarity, genuine creativity, that sustained kind of courage, What if they're born not from constant chaos, but actually from those moments of quiet, from reflection, from rest?
That feels like a truly radical thought in today's world.
It does, doesn't it?
It definitely feels like we need to start, as the article puts it, rethinking what we celebrate.
Yes.
A new lens.
It's pushing for a shift in the narrative.
Yeah.
From, how much are you doing to maybe how deeply are you living?
That's a great way to put it.
And from how busy are you to something more like how aligned are you?
Yeah.
With your values, maybe.
Exactly.
But this isn't about just stopping everything, is it? It's not anti-activity. It sounds more like it's about distinguishing between different kinds of busy.
Absolutely. Not anti-activity. The source is very clear. Being busy is sometimes necessary. It can be really productive.
Sure.
But being busy all the time, that's presented not as a measure of success, but often as a kind of warning sign.
Okay, a warning sign.
Yeah. It encourages us to see that true success might lie more in living with intention, not just sheer intensity.
Intention over intensity.
Yeah. So the key question isn't really, do you have time? It's more, does your time reflect your actual values? Or is it just reflecting what you're trying to avoid?
Right. It's about telling the difference between purposeful, deliberate action and just reacting, constantly reacting to the next demand.
So it's this shift from constant motion to meaning.
Precisely.
The source suggests that perpetual motion feels like momentum, right? Like we're always moving forward.
It creates that illusion, yeah.
But only genuine presence, actually being there, creates meaning. It even says the most successful people aren't always the busiest ones.
Oh, no.
They're often the most deliberate. They might look like they're doing less, but that less actually means profoundly more.
Exactly. And this really pushes us to ask ourselves some, uncomfortable questions, but essential ones.
Like what?
Questions that get right to the heart of this paradox. Things like, are we busy building something meaningful, or are we just busy hiding?
Ooh, okay.
Are we genuinely driven by our goals, or are we just letting ourselves be distracted by whatever feels urgent right now?
Big difference.
Huge. Are we working towards something significant, or are we essentially just running away from stillness? These questions help us shift from just looking at activity on the surface to really reflecting on its deeper purpose, its actual impact.
Wow. This deep dive has really shed light on the nuances of a phrase we just toss around every day.
It's so common, isn't it?
So just to recap the core idea then, busyness. It really can be both. It can be a genuine achievement, something productive, and maybe surprisingly, it can also be a subtle way to escape.
Both sides of the coin.
But the crucial turning point, the real signal to maybe pause and think, that's when busyness stops being just necessary activity and becomes, an identity we can't shake.
Or an addiction, even.
An addiction, yeah, or just an avoidance tactic we don't even realize we're using.
That's absolutely the key takeaway, and really forces us, or invites us maybe, to redefine success for ourselves.
How so?
Well, instead of measuring our success by how packed our days are, maybe we should shift focus to how full our lives actually feel.
Feel, not just look.
Precisely. It's a powerful call, really, to move past just the superficial metrics of constant doing towards something deeper, understanding fulfillment, purpose.
Okay, so as we wrap up, maybe we leave you, the listener, with this kind of provocative thought, something to reflect on.
Yeah.
In your own life, think about your busyness. Which side of this paradox does it really fall on?
A tough question.
Is it genuine intention? Are your actions really aligned with what you value most deeply? Or could it be that you're maybe running from stillness, using activity to fill every gap, avoid confronting what might be waiting in the quiet?
It's worth exploring, isn't it? How your time truly reflects what matters to you.
Or perhaps what you've been trying to avoid.